Hello everyone, OP here. I wanted to talk about the newly announced FNAF crossover with Dead by Daylight, and what my predictions slash wants are from this crossover. There are many different ways they could take this, like are they doing the games or the quote unquote new movie? We don't know yet, since it's scheduled for next year, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover just both scenarios. William Afton, aka Springtrap, on the Friday of opening night at Fazbear Frights, finds himself trying to find and kill the night guard. As he walks closer to the office, he hears the laughter of a child. Not wanting to lose sight of the guard again, he continues to walk, but hears the child calling out.
Daddy, it's me. Help me. Why did I die? Daddy, is this your fault?
William, consumed by guilt of his son's death and failure to bring him back, walks towards the voice saying Evan, his son who died from a bite from Fredbear, standing in front of the fog. Evan walks into the fog, calling to William.
Follow me, Daddy. You lost everything.
Before he could think, the fog consumed him. The night guard, wondering where the bunny went, walks over to his last known location via the cameras. With a flashlight, and before he was even able to turn the corner, the fog consumed him. But the night guard felt regret from the fog, as if he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Now, for the killer, I definitely want to see Springtrap as the killer from this crossover. I literally could not think of anyone else. I know the instant thought is Freddy, but I feel he would stand out way too much. Not to say Springtrap wouldn't, but I feel like he would fit in a lot better with the current cast. We definitely could have a cosmetic killer like Bonnie or Freddy though. I think that would fit better, kinda like Naughty Bear being a costume for the Trapper. They could also have alternate costumes for Springtrap like the Phantom animatronics or something like that. Now, for the killer ability, I came up with the ability named Springlock, which is pretty creative, I know, where a Springtrap picks up a survivor and 4 or however many hooks get turned into Golden Freddy suits. And they act like normal hooks, where Springtrap just puts them in it, but the survivors need to pass skill checks on the first hook. So instead of them getting hooked once and just sitting there, they still have to pass skill checks as if they were second hooked. And being unhooked takes longer. That's not really the best ability I could think of, so to add some more buff to the killer, each time Springtrap would put someone in a suit, he gains kind of a fury boost, which increases its speed by like maybe 4%. Those abilities are kind of alright, but it would be cool for Springtrap to be able to send an animatronic after you, like Knight does, or maybe he does a jump scare that stuns the survivor for anti-looping, but that might make him too OP, so it's definitely kind of a maybe for me. The survivor is hard here because there's like no stable characters in the whole FNAF universe that aren't like kids. So I might just have to go with the night guard from FNAF 3. He can just be a generic guy with a night guard suit on, and I'd just be fine with that. For his perks, I made up some perks, and I'm pretty proud of them, to be honest. So I'll just name off the 3 that I think he would kind of have. For the first perk that I made up is called Ventilation, where when the night guard gets out of chase, this perk activates and makes the grunting, breathing, and moaning stop for 30 seconds. This applies to other survivors around as well, so it can kind of have healing benefits as well. The second perk I made up is Tense Focus, where when working on a gen and the killer gets within 24 meters of you, you gain an 8% repair bonus, which is kind of big if the killer gets that close, but if he is that close, he's probably going for the generator you're on, so I think it kind of balances out. It also makes for really good comms and strategies among the survivors, I think, because if one's being chased, he can try and lead the killer over to the close gen the night guard is working on for a bonus. For the third and last perk that I made up is called Guard Experience, which allows the Night Guard to see the killer's scratch marks, which might sound like really OP, but it has the trade-off of making the tools that the survivor is using last a shorter amount of time and makes your scratch marks more visible. The survivor really wouldn't be the meat of this chapter, he'd kind of be just the bone, but the killer, I feel like if they went for a game approach, would be the main cereal in the bowl. Now, for the map, I've been going for kind of a FNAF 3 theme if you've noticed, and I feel like Fazbear Frights, where FNAF 3 takes place, would be really good. However, they would kind of have to expand it by such a large margin, but since it's a crossover and they're working for 5 decades on this project, it feels like, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard. I would also be cool with maybe the FNAF Ruins Pizzeria complex, I forgot the name of it, but I'm not entirely sure. You can leave me a comment telling me what you kind of would think for a game chapter. I'm not entirely sure myself because there's many possibilities, but all of the maps in the games are kind of like really small. We could do a VR type map, but I still don't think that would really work because I feel like it's just too small. Now, heading to the movie scenario. Mike and Vanessa sneak into the pizzeria to find Abby, Mike's sister. Mike enters with a taser, but before he could even get a shot off at the robots on stage, his vision gets cut off by a piercing white fog that basically eats him. He hears Vanessa call out, along with his sister Abby blaming him for his brother's disappearance. Mike, in his grief, sees his brother walk deeper into the fog. With the fog already pulling in Mike, he just submits to the entity. Now, for the killer, I feel like going the kind of movie route would be way more beneficial for the survivor, and it would kind of put the, it would kind of boost the FNAF radar for DBD fans, so maybe they can sell like more tickets for the FNAF 2 movie, but that might just be me. Anyways, for the killer, I might have to go with either Foxy or Chica, and just hear me out on this, alright? Foxy is skinny to blend and hide while also being intimidating at 7 feet tall. But I feel like he would kind of be like the Demogorgon with the lunge ability, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's like a one shot with a long cooldown. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure what they could do with it. Chica is honestly very plausible. With the cupcake in the movie, I feel she might be like the twins or the knight, depending on if you have control over the cupcake or not. Or maybe it's like a trap like the trapper where you place it somewhere. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. What do y'all think? Now, I know that we could have kind of a night thing going on, where the dead kids that are trapped inside the animatronics are the killer, but, and they're kind of working together, but DBD has shown to not draw kids into the trials, kind of shown in the lore with Chucky and Andy, so I don't think that they do anything like that. Now, the survivor category is where I think the movie shines. It's obvious that the survivor will either be Michael or Vanessa, or we could be like saying a Legion thing or a Bard thing where you can change survivors based off your outfit or something. But for the perks, I think these perks work well for both survivors. Like, they kind of fit both survivors really well. For the first perk, it's just called Taser, and it would be a locker crafting item, and it would simply hinder and stun the killer, and if they're over some type of puddle or water, the killer would be stunned for longer. But I feel like behavior is just too lazy to do all that, so I don't think that the over water thing will happen if they take motivation from this. The second perk would be motivation, which would get rid of all status effects in the process, kind of like self-care. So I think it would take like maybe 30 seconds, kind of like madness or something like that, trying to get rid of it. I feel like that would kind of not be too overpowered, and if you don't really get the reference I'm going for here, I got this from Michael being motivated by his kidnapped brother to kind of keep going, because last time I checked, the movie was kind of him working a job and trying to take care of Abby and stuff because he doesn't want Abby going missing or something like that. You kind of get what I'm getting at. Now, the third and last perk I came up with is called Odd Sense, and it would kind of be like a better spine chill, with Michael saying a voice line indicating that the killer is near and approaching, and that's about it. I don't know what the voice line would say, but I feel like it'd be kind of cool if we had a perk that would based off voice lines that would say, oh, I have a bad feeling about this, and that would mean that the killer's kind of walking towards them. Not like Spine Chill where if he looks at you, you kind of get like a 2-second indicator about that. No, if he's walking towards you, then that's when you get the indicator. I feel these perks aren't like too broken and are very counterable, but can be changed to make them more balanced. Like the Odd Sense one, I feel like if the killer turns his back and walks backwards, I don't think that the perk should let the person know about that, because he's not technically looking at that. Now, the map would literally just be the setting of the movie. There's maybe some Easter eggs they could throw in there, like the taxi from Corey's part of the movie, or maybe even a squirrel in a tree as a tribute to Markiplier, aka the king of squirrels, way back when. But there's not really much they can really do with the map unless they release it during like a movie period in which they can cheese kind of the setting of the like FNAF 2 movie, but I don't think so. So I feel like if they went with the movie approach, it'd just be the movie setting around the pizzeria. And yeah, that's all I had cooked up. Thank you for watching, and tell me your thoughts on this crossover. Do you like it? Do you think it'll be good? Do you think it's kind of weird? I know DBD's had like really weird crossovers, but I feel like this one suits it really well, and I'll try and respond to some comments. Let me know what I can personally improve on, as well as kind of a growing beginner YouTuber. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next video.